Let's get started. Start with listening, and then learn new words and practice them in sentences.
Have you ever wondered how a literary critic unravels the complexity of a text? Well, the art of textual analysis is their secret weapon. It's not just about understanding words on a page. It's about diving deep, peeling back layers of meaning, and engaging with the text in a dialogue of interpretation. And it's not limited to literary works. Complex texts appear in academic articles, sophisticated media content, and beyond. Through this video, we'll help you develop the skills to interpret nuanced themes, identify rhetorical strategies, and evaluate arguments. You'll learn to deconstruct dense passages, recognize underlying assumptions, and provide well-founded critiques. We'll explore examples from diverse genres and fields to encourage you to engage critically with the material. Whether you're a student, a professional, or simply an avid reader, these skills will prove invaluable in your academic and professional communication. So, are you ready to delve into the art of textual analysis? Unleash your inner critic and join us on this journey of textual analysis. Puzzled by dense passages? Fear not, for every text carries its meaning within. Dense passages can often feel like a labyrinth of words where every turn seems to lead to more confusion. But they're not insurmountable. With the right tools, you can navigate through them and unravel their mysteries. Let's start with close reading. This is a process of diving deep into the text, examining every word, every sentence, every paragraph. It's like exploring a coral reef where each new discovery sheds light on the ecosystem as a whole. You're looking for patterns, repetitions, contrasts, and connections. You're seeking to understand the text on a granular level, to grasp its intricate details and how they come together to form the big picture. Next, consider the context. Every text exists within a particular time, place, and culture. Understanding this context can provide valuable insights into the meaning of a dense passage. Think of it as a treasure map, guiding you towards the true interpretation. It helps you understand why certain words, phrases, or ideas were used and what they might signify. Finally, identify the key vocabulary. Dense passages often contain complex words or phrases that are pivotal to their meaning. They're like the keys to a locked door, opening up the passage's deeper layers. It's essential to understand these words, not just their dictionary definitions, but their connotations, their nuances, their roles within the passage. But remember, this isn't a one-and-done process. It's a cycle, a journey. You might need to loop back, to revisit earlier sections of the text with fresh insights gleaned from later passages. You might need to refine your understanding, to adjust your interpretations as you delve deeper. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing the core bit by bit. It can be a challenging process, requiring patience, persistence, and curiosity. But it's also rewarding, leading to a richer understanding and a more nuanced appreciation of the text. So don't be daunted by dense passages. Embrace them, explore them, engage with them. They're not walls to be broken down, but puzzles to be solved, treasures to be unearthed. With practice, even the densest passages can become clear, like a foggy morning giving way to the sun. Ever noticed how some texts just have a way of persuading us? Well, that's no accident. It's all a part of the writer's craft, skillfully employing rhetorical strategies to convince you of their point of view. Let's delve into the fascinating world of rhetoric, the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing. It's a world filled with ethos, pathos, and logos, and understanding these techniques can significantly enhance your ability to analyze and critique complex texts. First up, ethos. This is an appeal to ethics, and it's all about establishing credibility or character. When a writer employs ethos, they're essentially saying, "Trust me, I'm reliable and I know what I'm talking about." They might do this by citing their qualifications, referencing respected authorities, or demonstrating a thorough understanding of the subject matter. Next, we have pathos. This is an appeal to emotion, designed to stir up feelings in the reader. It can range from eliciting sympathy or empathy to sparking outrage or joy. By touching the reader's emotions, the writer can sway them towards their point of view. And finally, there's logos. This is an appeal to logic, using solid reasoning and evidence to support the argument. Here, the writer is saying, look at the facts, look at the logic. This is the only reasonable conclusion. But remember, these strategies aren't used in isolation. A skilled writer will weave ethos, pathos, and logos together, creating a compelling and persuasive argument. They might establish their credibility with ethos, touch your heart with pathos, and then seal the deal with a solid logical argument. So as you analyze texts, Look for these rhetorical strategies. Ask yourself, how is the writer using ethos, pathos, and logos? How do these strategies contribute to the overall argument? And most importantly, are they effective? Understanding these strategies is not just about analyzing texts, it's about understanding the art of persuasion. And once you grasp that, you're well on your way to becoming a skilled analyst and critic of complex texts. Do you know what makes an argument compelling or weak? Evaluating arguments is an integral part of analyzing complex texts. It involves examining the structure, the quality of evidence provided, and the coherence of the argument. Let's start with the identification of logical fallacies. Logical fallacies are errors in reasoning that undermine the logic of an argument. They can be deceptive because they may seem plausible at first glance. Examples include the straw man fallacy, where an opponent's position is misrepresented to make it easier to attack, or the slippery slope fallacy, which suggests that one thing will inevitably lead to another without providing any evidence for this chain of events. Recognizing these fallacies can help you judge the strength of an argument and identify any weak spots. Next, let's discuss the assessment of evidence. Arguments are only as strong as the evidence that supports them. When evaluating an argument, look for the quality, relevance, and sufficiency of the evidence provided. Is the evidence reliable and trustworthy? Is it directly related to the argument being made? Is there enough evidence to support the claim? These are the questions you should be asking. Finally, let's talk about coherence in argumentation. A coherent argument is logically consistent and easy to follow. It should flow smoothly from one point to the next, with each point building on the previous one. A lack of coherence can make an argument difficult to understand and reduce its persuasiveness. Evaluating arguments is not just about finding flaws or weaknesses. It's also about recognizing when an argument is well constructed and compelling. This involves appreciating the use of sound logic, strong evidence, and coherent structure. Remember, the goal here is not to agree or disagree with the argument, but to assess its quality and effectiveness. It's about being an informed and critical reader, capable of making your own judgments based on a careful analysis of the text. Being able to evaluate an argument is a skill that goes beyond textual analysis. It's a critical life skill. So keep honing your argument evaluation skills as they are invaluable, both in academia and in everyday life. So, how does all of this come together in a critique? Well, each of the skills we've previously discussed is like a tool in a toolbox. When you're tasked with critiquing a complex text, you don't just use one tool, you use them all. You deconstruct dense passages, uncover rhetorical strategies, and evaluate the argument presented. These skills work together to provide a comprehensive and nuanced critique. The power of critique lies not just in understanding a text, but in questioning it, challenging it, and ultimately enhancing your own understanding and perspective. Critique is an active process, a dialogue between you and the text. It's not about tearing a work apart, but rather digging deeper, revealing layers of meaning, and engaging critically with the material. In doing so, you're not just a passive consumer of texts, but an active participant in the world of ideas. Remember, every text holds a world within it, waiting for you to uncover. So get out there and start analyzing.
Let's learn new words and practice English at level C2. Analytical. Analytical, relating to or using analysis or logical reasoning. Example, analytical skills are crucial when dissecting complex texts to understand their underlying themes and arguments. Critique. Critique, a detailed analysis and assessment of something, especially a literary, philosophical, or political theory. Example, writing a critique involves evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of a text, providing a comprehensive understanding of its impact. Deconstruct. Deconstruct, to break down something complex into its various parts to uncover its underlying assumptions and contradictions. Example, deconstructing a novel may reveal biases and perspectives that are not immediately obvious. Exegesis. Exegesis, critical explanation or interpretation of a text, particularly a religious scripture. Example, scholars often perform exegesis on classical texts to extract meanings that are not apparent at first glance. Hermeneutics. Hermeneutics, the branch of knowledge that deals with interpretation, especially of the Bible or literary texts. Example, hermeneutics is a useful tool for analyzing texts, focusing on understanding the author's intentions and the cultural context. Infer. Infer, to deduce or conclude information from evidence and reasoning rather than from explicit statements. Example, from the evidence presented in the text, we can infer the author's political leanings. Subtext. Subtext, the underlying or implicit meaning, as opposed to the primary message, that is not explicitly stated but can be discerned from the reading of the text. Example, the subtext of the dialogue reveals a power struggle that is not overtly mentioned by the characters. Synthesize. Synthesize, to combine a number of different pieces of information, ideas, or resources in a coherent whole. Example, in academic writing, synthesizing sources allows you to weave together various viewpoints to form a new perspective on an issue.